Good.
Welcome to Hamilton County Newsmakers. I'm Perry Williams, and I have the Town of Cicero's Economic Development Specialist.
Community Development Specialist.
Community Development. Shae, say your last name, because I can't ever say it, and I've known you forever.
I don't know why. It's Kmicikewycz, so that's why he didn't want to say it.
Well, let's talk about what's going on in the Town of Cicero. I know that you took over the first of the year, was it?
That's correct.
So you've kind of hit the ground running, and you got a lot of good things going up there. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in Cicero.
Well, right now we're really excited because last night at our town council meeting we read the first reading of our downtown revitalization plan. So Perry, as you know, those plans are so important when you're trying to revitalize your downtown area. So we got to see the full plan and hear a little bit about each of the pieces with trails, facade improvement, streetscape, all of those pieces. So May 4th we'll actually have the adoption of the downtown revitalization plan. So certainly we encourage folks, if they would like to attend, it's at our town council meeting on May 4th at 7 o'clock at our town hall.
Yeah, because one of the good things about this, Shae, is I think a lot of people don't understand how many hours it takes to put together a plan that is as detailed as this one. Because I know from experience and know you've done it many times before, so I'm sure it's very, very detailed and it's kind of a long range plan.
It is, and some of the projects are ones that we're looking at Vinegar Hill development, which we know that's something that's not going to be done in 2 years. So it's really looking at things that, you know, we have something more maintainable or attainable with the facade improvement or streetscape, but then we have projects like Vinegar Hill and then what to do at the Jackson and Main Street intersection there that are going to be projects that will most likely be 5, 10, 15 years down the road. So a lot of time and effort and public input especially went into this plan. And we just recently completed our comprehensive plan for the town as well. So we're really starting to get all of our pieces together so we can really handle more development within the downtown area and the community. Yeah,
because you know, that is a wonderful little town up there, and obviously with Morse Reservoir there, it's that entices the area much more, and you have some very outstanding restaurants up there. So
we do. We have some great restaurants, and we're actually in May. We will hopefully have our grand opening for DeLulo's. They're now located in downtown Atlanta, and they're going to move to downtown Cicero. So they are getting the building all ready to go. It's actually going to be in one of the houses. So that's another thing we're trying to do in Cicero because our building stock is a little bit limited, but we do have houses along 19 and along Jackson Street that will make great businesses once we get those transformed.
Yeah, because the one thing about it is when you're a small town like Cicero, it's very difficult to do brick and mortar type things, okay? And you do have some outstanding older homes that are available that are in a very good location along Highway 19, as you talked about, because you know the numbers along 19 is huge.
Yes.
And the same way with Jackson Street going east and west. So you know you have a lot of traffic through there.
Yes, we do. And with that, there are some safety concerns as well. So that's why the plan identified that with the traffic for pedestrians along with the vehicles, trying to figure out ways that we can make it more pedestrian friendly for folks who want to visit downtown Cicero and enjoy the causeway and go over to Red Bridge Park and enjoy some of the other things that Cicero has to offer.
Yeah, because there's some certain things that are happening outside of Cicero that's going to impact you tremendously down the road. Obviously, one being Grand Park, okay?
Yes.
Because this weekend, there's the largest crowd they'll have all year long. I was thinking they were thinking 30,000 or so, 25,000, 30,000 people over there this weekend watching soccer and basketball and baseball tournaments. So those things are going to affect your area.
Right.
And Coe Park is the county park, which is on the east side, okay, has got some tremendous plans. So, you know, you have to be ready for all of those things.
Yes, you do. And we're fortunate because we're starting to build some of those amenities, and we're actually right now talking about, okay, how can we get the folks who are visiting Grand Park, watching the games, to get them to come to Cicero, because of course, you know, you want to get away from the sun and the heat and have places to go, and of course the Morris Reservoir adds a lot of value. So one of the projects that we're working on right now is creating a stationary pier. So people can enjoy the lake a little bit more. Currently, there are only 2 access points on the reservoir, public access points, I should say. So we're trying to open up some additional opportunities for people to enjoy Morris, and then also fish and we're hoping that we'll also be able to have bands along the pier as well, and some of those things. So, and then of course with the restaurants, we have a dozen restaurants in Cicero.
Which is unbelievable. You know as well as I do, in small town USA, by you spending a lot of time on the state level in Main Street, that you know that there are cities in this state right now, or cities all over the country, that would kill for half of those restaurants in their downtown area.
Yes, we're very fortunate because we have something for everyone to enjoy, whether you want a nice steak at 10 West, or you'd like to go to the Lazy Frog for some wonderful seafood, or you want to go to Erica's for a nice home-cooked type of meal. And then, of course, you know, for people who love pizza, we have the Pizza House, we have Pizza King.
Yeah, barbecue.
Oh, yeah, for anyone. Oh, that is wonderful.
And now and of course, you have a Mexican restaurant.
Yes, we do.
Become very successful, and now you're going to have Italian. So there's not
right.
much more you're going to.
And we have ice cream with Alexander's
that's
there
right.
too. So I mean, we have a lot of options for folks. And like you're right. I mean, with a community that small, I was amazed by how many restaurants. I grew up in a larger community just north of here. You know, population of 19,000 people, and we only had, I think, 4 or 5 restaurants in our downtown. So it's pretty amazing at what they're able to offer.
You know, and I think the one good thing about it too is the walkability to all these restaurants. Okay,
yes.
Once you park, and you know, it's always fascinating your causeway there that you can walk across and stand there at that little lookout about halfway across Morris Reservoir, and nothing's prettier than sitting at the Lazy Frog maybe in the evening on one of those tables outside and watching the sunset. So
yes,
a lot of beautiful things going on there.
There certainly are.
Could be. It's going to be very, very exciting. You know, and you say the music, and you know, the one thing about it, in both instances, whether it's going to be horse riding or archery at the Hamilton County Park at Coe, or it's going to be baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever you want to say in Westfield, it's going to give people the opportunity to get away and enjoy some time away from the everyday routine of what they're that they're here for.
Yes.
And good family time.
That's right. That's right.
Well, let's take a break right now, and we'll be back, and we'll talk about some of the events that we got coming up here in Cicero.
You know, when Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage: Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. and we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
Well, we're back on Hamilton County Newsmakers, and Shae and I are having a conversation about all the wonderful things that are going on in Cicero, Indiana. And I think, of course, you're a community development specialist, but also that spins into you're now our Town Cicero, which
Right.
you have a big piece in. So let's talk about some of the things you got coming up on it, because I know the Old Faithful coming up in July is the fireworks. So let's
Yes.
kind of talk about events coming up between now
And we have some of those, and I promise next time I'll bring guests, so you don't have to just hear me talking. I have a few different things going on from the Parks Department, and then our Town Cicero, which is our Indiana Main Street organization, and they have a huge event schedule. And the first one I'm going to talk about is actually our Town Cicero's event. It's called Murder at the Juice Joint. So it is one of those murder mysteries. It's going to be a wonderful evening. It's April 28th, so this coming Thursday. I think they only have 10 tickets left.
Really?
But it's $50 a person. You get dinner and all of the fun included in that. And you can go on Eventbrite and look at our Town Cicero and Murder at the Juice Joint to purchase tickets. But the tickets have gone pretty fast, and so members of our Town Cicero board are actually going to play the characters, so it'll be fun to see how everyone will interact. And it's going to be at 10 West in the banquet room there. So they are getting started with that before they go into their big event in September, which you know a lot about with that Dine on the Causeway, which they've been planning since January. So this is just kind of to kick off the season. They had their Tasted Chocolate back in February, which was a great success and wonderful turnout. And so this time they're changing it up a little bit. And I do want to say, and as you know, like with Noblesville Main Street and the other Main Street organizations in the county, these events are important for the fundraising aspect of it.
Absolutely.
These organizations could not do what they do if they did not have supporters and sponsors for their organizations. So what I always like to say about Main Street organizations and with our Town Cicero, the money that goes to that organization goes right back out into the downtown. And that's one of the neat things with a Main Street organization in itself, is because you get to see every day what your dollars go towards, whether it's flowers or additional events or creating facade programs or whatever it might be. And I know with our Town Cicero, one of their projects they'd like to work on is a pocket park, kind of do some art, banners in the downtown. So these dollars from events like Murder at the Juice Joint and Dine on the Causeway and the Taste of Chocolate, it all goes into creating these types of programs and projects.
Yeah, you're so right about that. And, you know, the one thing about it is whether it's the Main Street organization in Noblesville or the Main Street organization in Cicero, we're supported by the Indiana Main Street, which is supported by the National Main Street. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, we're not all reinventing the wheel. I mean, the book's already been written. Right. All you got to do is follow it, right, Shae?
That's right.
I mean, the book's already written, and all you have to follow it. And you and I both know that if needed, National Main Street will help you in any way they can to make sure that you get all of your committees working in the right direction. And what a great, you guys blessed me with giving the opportunity to come up there when you started, your Main Street, and then I went with you guys to Kokomo when you kind of took a tour of Kokomo and seen all the great things they got going on up there. So, there's some very hard, dedicated volunteers in Cicero, Indiana right now, and they want to make a difference.
They really do. Like last night, they also had their promotions committee meeting, and they're talking about projects even into next year, and you have that dedicated group of folks, but then it's nice to see new faces who come into the fold. And last night I saw some new faces, which was exciting, because there's one thing I think everyone can get passionate about, and that's their downtown, because it's the heart of your community, and it tells a lot about the economic viability in your community. So if you have that downtown that is not thriving and you have weeds growing in the cracks, then it doesn't appear like you have much pride in your community. So with Cicero, I've just been amazed with their volunteers, folks who own businesses where they're putting in 50 hours a week or 80 hours a week for some folks, and they're still volunteering time. So it's really important to see that, and those volunteers are so important to any organization.
Yeah, and the one thing about business owners are also entrepreneurs, and they don't like to be outdone, okay?
No, they don't.
So when some store owner raises the bar a little bit, other ones follow, and that's what makes a great town, and that's what makes a successful Main Street.
That is true.
Now tell us a little bit about the 4th of July festivities.
Well, that is a big extravaganza.
Absolutely.
As you know, it's actually going to start because 4th of July is on a Monday this year, so it's really going to start on Friday. So it's a 4-day event, and they're really celebrating the bicentennial. This is Indiana's bicentennial, so they are going to have all kinds of activities starting on Friday. They are trying to get a huge cake made in the shape of the state of Indiana, and of course with the fireworks itself. One thing that we're going to add from the town of Cicero is we're actually doing our rain barrels again this year. We did not last year, but this year we're doing those again. So we have 16 local artists who will be painting these rain barrels. It's part of our stormwater education program. And so it's actually going to be judged this year. So Perry, don't be surprised if you might get a call. But we're going to have judges this year and prizes. But we're going to kick that off on June 2nd with it's basically a big celebration of Cicero's sustainable efforts. So that's going to be June 2nd. So we'll actually auction off those rain barrels July 4th weekend, and all those proceeds will go to another one of our great organizations with the Cicero Friends of the Park. But it should be a great weekend full of wonderful activities. They're going to make it bigger and better than they have in the past. And I was amazed with that group because it's a small number of people who put that large event together. And again, thinking about how much time and energy goes into an event, let alone a 4-day event, is just amazing to me.
I've always been amazed of what they do on their fireworks and all the activities they have going on, not only in Red Bridge but Cicero Parks and all those wonderful things that are going on. It's really, really a setup for families and young and old. I mean, and basically the entertainment and the events that are planned around that is for young and old. So that's one of the great things. And well, this will be your first one, isn't it?
It will be. I've heard a lot of things, so I'm excited.
And the rain barrels, you have to really, the one thing that Main Street does, it gets people involved that normally don't get involved in things. Take, for instance, these rain barrels, okay? Mm-hmm. And, of course, it's important for our environment and all those things to do those kind of things to catch the water and recycle and things like that. but now you're getting artists involved in it. And we, here in Hamilton County, from Fishers to Tipton, we have a tremendous amount of artists that work very, very hard and are very talented in this community.
We really do. Nickel Plate Arts has been really helpful for us as we're starting to find that we have a lot of artists located in Cicero that we didn't know about, and we don't really have an arts organization or group set up. So we're hoping that our Main Street organization will help umbrella that effort. Actually, we're going to have a reception for our local artists to find out who's in the community, because there are so many people who are doing neat things, and they're always coming into my office, a welder and, graphic designer. It's just amazing that you have that in your community, and a lot of times you don't even realize it. So events like this really bring out, so you can meet some other faces and other people. And
it's a cross mix of people that you probably would never think about putting together.
I know.
I mean, really. Well, we kind of ran out of time here, Shae, but I want to personally invite you back sometime towards the middle or end of May. We'll schedule another Wednesday here, and you can bring some guests, and we can talk a little bit more in detail about, we'll have some more detail on the rain barrels and what we got, maybe some pictures already of some of them that are done.
Certainly.
And then, of course, we'll that beautiful magazine that they put together for the fireworks and all the activities.
Yes.
We'll be able to go into detail more of the things that are going to be up there. So I invite you back sometime towards the middle to end of May, and bring some guests in, and we can talk about it We'll do about 3 8-minute segments and talk.
That
all
sounds
right?
perfect. Thank you,
Well,
Perry.
thank you very much. This is Perry Williams with Hamilton County Newsmakers, and we'll see you next time.